Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com. So today we're going to be learning the Addams Family theme. So this is probably the happiest Halloween-esque sounding theme song that I can think of. And it makes sense. The Addams Family are probably the most cheerful, spooky family ever. Now with that said, this is actually a really great arrangement for the beginner player. It's not too hard, although there are three things that make it a bit tricky. And we're going to break down those three things in just a second. But first, let's talk about this lesson. This lesson, we're going to be learning the entire song. But if you guys want to get the tabs to follow along with and access the on-screen tab viewer, which is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. You guys can click this link right here to check out those assets, or go to rockclass101.com and do a search for the Addams Family theme. All right, so let's talk about those three things that are a little bit tricky before we kick into learning this song. So first off, you notice that the speed, it's a quickly paced tempo. So I played it at about 120, so that is a quick tempo. Now that doesn't mean you have to play it at that speed. So if you are a beginner player, I would recommend to start slower and work it up to speed. Now the second thing that's a little tricky is the rhythms. So there's a few things with the rhythms. First off, we have advanced rhythms. We have eighth note triplets. So that means we're hitting 3 notes per beat. So if you're new to that concept, then you want to check out this lesson right here, which is a lesson on understanding and counting rhythmic notation. And it's going to cover eighth note triplets in detail. Now the other thing that's tricky is that we do have some syncopated hits. So we're hitting on the end of the beat, or the ups of the beat. So that's a little tricky, and we'll talk about that as we get to it in the arrangement. And lastly, this song has a swung eighth note fill. So instead of having a standard eighth note, standard or straight eighth note means that all the eighth notes are an equal length of time. They're all even. So it's kind of like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so it's all even. But when we swing it, that means that the first note is going to last longer than the second note. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So think of it like this. Think of swung eighth notes as you have 2 eighth notes, but think of it in terms of 3. The first eighth note lasts 2/3. The second eighth note lasts 1/3. So that's why that first eighth note is going to last longer. So you have long, short, long, short, long, short. Instead of with straight eighth notes, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and, where it's all even. So to demonstrate this concept, if I was to play a C major scale, I'll play in straight eighth notes first. If I count it, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now if I swing it, I would have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can hear the difference pretty clear, right? Straight, swung. So that's the trick with these eighth notes, is you want to swing that rhythm. So it's a little confusing if this is the first time you've done it, but just go ahead and try and get that feel. Long, short, long, short, long, short, da, 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 da. Get that stuck in your head and kind of groove a little bit to it. And the last thing with this tune that's a little tricky is that it has some unique fingering. So we're taking all these basic chords, but sometimes when we switch from one chord to the next, we're going to use a different fingering than we're used to. So it's a little tricky, but again, we're going to break that down as we get to it in the lesson. All right, so let's go ahead and kick into this lesson. We start off with a pickup measure. So we're kicking off on beat 4 with the eighth note triplet. So remember, eighth note triplet, we're playing 3 notes in that quarter note time span. So it will be triplet. So if I count it out, I would have 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Triplet 1, snap, snap. So if I play it, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so let's just break down that first part. So this is the first half of melody A. So there's a few ways we can approach our right hand picking. Now what I like to do is pretend my index finger is a pick. So I'm literally just sticking my index finger out a little bit, putting my thumb on the back of the fingertip, and I'm just alternate picking. I'm going down with the nail, up with the flesh. So you can see down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and so forth. So you can give that a shot. It's a little weird at first, but if you want to make it the easiest way for picking, then that's just going to be using your thumb, and you can go down for everything. Or you could even alternate it where you use two fingers, maybe down with the thumb, up with the index. So it really comes down to you experimenting with which one feels the most comfortable and is the easiest for you to use. So learn this little melody A, and then experiment with the right hand. See which one works best for you. All right, so let's break down the notes that I was playing. So it starts with the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So we're going to play that note, and then we're going to play the open 2nd string, followed up by the 2nd fret of string 2. Okay, that's our triplet. So we have triplet. Okay, so again, it's 2nd fret on string 3, open E, 2nd fret on string 2, and then it's going to end with the 3rd fret of string 2. So you can see I'm just using my index finger for the first 2 fretted notes and then finishing up with my middle finger for the last one. So 2nd, open, 2nd, 3rd. So if we want to put that into that time frame though, we have 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, 2, 3. Da 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 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, 2, 3. So you can see that beat 1 is a quarter note, and those snaps are going to be quarter notes too. So this little melody A is pretty much predominantly 8th note triplets and quarter notes. So it's not too hard rhythmically speaking because it's only those 2 rhythms. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down again. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, 2, 3. So you're going to snap on beat 2 and beat 3, and then you're going to go ahead and set up to do the next triplet run. So let's try it really slow. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Again. 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Awesome. So our next set of 8th notes is going to be on the E string. So we're going to go open 2nd to the 2nd fret with the index finger to the 4th fret with the ring finger. Okay? So we've got O, 2, 4. So again, it's just all on string 2, open, 2nd, 4th. Okay? And then we're following that up with the open A string. So remember, triplet 1, snap, snap, okay? So let's give that a shot, slow. 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Awesome. And again, 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Cool, so that's the first half of melody A. If we put that together, guys, starting on beat 4 for the pickup, 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Triplet 1, snap, snap. So guys, don't forget too, this little YouTube player has a slow down feature. So if you click it depends on what device you're using. It's on mobile now, but you can even slow down this video to like 75, 50% too. So if you want to practice along and I'm going a little too fast, you can slow it down and play it at a bit slower speed as well. So let me go ahead and just play the second half and then we'll break it down. All right, so that was pretty quick tempo, right? But you notice that you're gonna double the little lick without the snaps in between. So that's the first thing that's different. So we have, right, 2 times in a row and then it goes back to the first one. And then snap, snap. So you want to remember it's the second triplet run twice in a row. So you've got all on the E string, O, 2, 4, open A, O, 2, 4, open A, and then back to the first triplet run, 2, O, 2, 3, and then snap, snap. So let's just break that down and then we'll put in the last beat in a sec. So we're gonna start on the fourth beat of bar 2. So we have the open E run. 1, 2, 3. Triplet A, triplet A, triplet to the G. So it's a little tricky. Let's put that into context. So again, the beginning of this tune, we start on beat 4. 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Triplet 1, triplet 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. So those doubles in a row are a little confusing, but then again, we probably know this song, we've heard it a lot, so it's very, very easy to remember. If you can sing it, you can play it. Da 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 da, snap, snap, ba da da da, snap, snap, da 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 da, da 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 da, ba da da da, snap, snap. So that's always key, guys. You can sing it, you can play it. All right, so our last hit is going to be a tap on top of the, probably right above the neck, to a little to the left of the sound hole. So we're just going to tap with that knuckle of our thumb, and then we're going to have our little pickup note, which goes into pretty much the singing part. So we've got just one note, which is the 2nd fret of string 3. So let me play the whole melody A, this whole little intro together, and you can hear that little part, and I'll go into the first part and do a little head thing to signal the next bar. So I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's you and I try this together. So we'll go all the way through this melody A. 1, 2, 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Triplet 1, triplet 3. Triplet 1, snap, snap. Tap 2. Okay, so that last part, you're tapping on beat 4, and then on the end of 4, we're hitting that 2nd fret of string 3. So that's a little tricky. Okay, so this melody B, this verse is going to be playing out of a G chord. Now we're going to use a regular fingering for this. So nothing fancy going on here. G chord is your index on the 2nd fret of string 3, ring is on the 3rd fret of string 2, middle finger's on the 2nd fret of string 1, and the open 4th string. So let me go ahead and just play this first bar of this melody B real quick, and then we'll break it down. And I'm going to start on that pickup. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's what we get for the first bar. Now let's go ahead and break down what's happening. First thing that's important is our right hand attack. So I'm going to tell you guys how I do it. And I spent a lot of time thinking about what is the easiest approach for this. And again, it's up to you. If there's a different fingering or a different way you want to play it, that's all up to you. But I'm going to show you what works great for me. So I'm using pretty much a 2-finger approach, although I'm using 3 fingers, because I'm going to be strumming with my index finger, just the nail of the finger. It's going to be strumming down. Now for single notes, I'm going to be using my thumb for the 3rd string, and my middle finger is going to cover string 1 and string 2. So it's going to get 2 strings to do. Now there is a section where we're going to be plucking, and we'll talk about that in just a second, but that's going to be using 3 fingers. So let's go ahead and learn how to play. So go ahead and make that G chord again. And with that said, we want to attack our first hit, which is this strum. We want to strum 4 to 2. So when you strum down with the index finger, try to stop at string 2. We're stopping at string 2 because we want to highlight the melody note, which is that G note. It's the root of the chord. So that's why we want to strum only to string 2. So I've got 4 to 2, I'm going to follow that up by playing string 1. Remember, that's the 2nd fret. Then come up with the middle finger and pluck string 2. Okay, so let's just try that. And this is 8th notes. We have 1 and 2. We want to swing it, right? So longer on the first 8th note, shorter on the second 8th note. 1, 2, 1 and 2. So again, here we go. Ready, go. 1 and 2. So we've got strum 1, 2. So real slow, strum 1, 2. So after that, you're gonna lift that ring finger up, play the open E, then lift the index finger up and play the open C. Okay? So we have 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. All right, so let's try it again with together. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. So again, it's strum 1, 2, 0, 0. So remember, you gotta lift those fingering up. So you really want to just lift the entire hand up, but you still want to keep the neck steady. So you can see when I lift a whole hand up, this part of my index finger, where the last little knuckle meets, that's going to stabilize the neck and hold it up at this angle. Okay, so I don't want to ever lose control of the ukulele. Okay, so again, I've got strum down with the index, middle, 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 thumb. Okay, the next one's going to be plucking this A minor 7. So we could really just pluck strings 4, 2, and 1. So we're just plucking them open. So I'm going to use my thumb for string 4, middle finger for string 2, ring finger for string 1. This is hitting on the end of 3. So if I put that together, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now this pluck is going to last a quarter note. So that's what's tricky, because your next hit is this F note. It's the first fret of string 2. It's going to be on the end of 4. So I'm going to think of this rhythm as 1 and 2 and 3 and end. So I'm going to hold that one out longer. 1 and 2 and 3 and end. Right? So if I play and count it, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and end. Okay, again. 1 and 2 and 3 and end. Right? So I did 4 under my breath, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. End. So you're going to hit on the end of 4, right? So that pluck is going to last longer. So that's what we were talking about with the syncopated hit. It's a little tricky because you got to hit on the end of the beat. So real slow, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, end. Okay? So again, the last note, we're just hitting that first fret of string 2. So let's try that bar together, slow. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. End. All right, and let's add that pickup, so the end of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. End. So going into our next bar, we're going to a D7, although we're going to play this D7 a little bit different than what you may be used to. And this D7 is going to come around again, and the second time it comes around, we're using an alternate fingering. So the first fingering for this D7 is going to be middle finger on the second fret of string 4, and your ring finger on the second fret of string 2. So for this one, we're doing pretty much the same hits as the last bar. So let me play this bar first, and then we'll break it down. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. So you can see we're switching from D7 to G. So let's go ahead and learn it. So go ahead and make that D7 again. And we're going to strum 4 to 2. So same first finger, following it up with the open A, and then the second fret of string 2. Okay, so that's the first part of the bar. We've got 1 and 2. Then here's the tricky part. We're going to switch back to the G chord right then. So what you're going to do is lift these two fingers up, put the index finger down first, and play this next note, which is the 2nd fret of string 3. And then you're going to add the ring finger to make the G. And then you're going to add the middle finger to finish the full G chord. So it's ba ba ba, so it's one at a time. So watch how I form the G one at a time. And again. So you see ba ba ba. That's the tricky part with this bar. So try and do one at a time for this section and work on it slow. So again, form D7, we've got strum 4 to 2, open A, then the 2nd string, then lift up, put your middle finger down on the 3rd string 2nd fret, play that note, add the ring finger, strum, add the middle finger. Okay? So together I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So again, this last hit is a quarter note. So you've got to hold it out for twice as long. And the very last hit of this bar is going to be the 2nd fret of string 3. So let's put that into context. I'll show you first, then we'll try. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, end. So hitting on the end of 4. So again, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, end. Okay, so let's try together slow. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, end. So very tricky stuff. So if we put this first half of melody B together, guys, we've got 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, end. All right, and if I play it without calling, 2, 3, 4. Now, the good thing is that this next bar, the 3rd bar for melody B, is identical except for the last note to the 1st bar. So we're swapping out that last note. Instead of playing the 1st fret on the 2nd string, we're going to be playing the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. That's the only difference. So you have the same thing. So you have that pickup on the end of 4, strum, 1, 2, 0, 0, pluck. This time around you're adding the 3rd fret of string 2. So after that, we're going back to our D7, but this time around we're doing the D7 with an alternate fingering. What we want to do is we want to use our index and our middle finger. So our index finger is going to play the 2nd fret of string 4, middle finger plays the 2nd fret of string 2. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want to use the ring finger to play the melody note that's in between those two fingers. So it sounds like this. Okay, so ba-do-da-da-da. Alright, so you see that ring reaches in between to grab that note. So I'm strumming the D7, and as straight 8th notes, we've got 1 for the strum, 4 to 2. Then take that ring finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 3, play the open E, the 2nd fret of the E string, and the 3rd fret of the E string. Now notice that how I lift up after I strum. So I've got strum 3, that's when I lift up after I play that 2nd note. So it just gives me more room for my left hand to play the next few notes. Okay, so strum 3, 0, 2, 3. Okay, and then you're gonna rest for an 8th note, and you're gonna basically go back to playing that melody A. Snap, 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 and so forth. So if I play that last bar, going back into melody A, you can hear it's 1 and 2 and 3, ba-da-da-da, snap, snap. Right? So let me actually play it, not sing half of it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Snap, 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 and then so forth for the A melody. So in essence, it's just going to repeat back to the beginning. So let's put bar 3 and 4 together for the B melody, and then we'll talk a little bit again about how it repeats back to the A melody. So bar 3 and 4 we had starting on the G. We'll start on the pickup, the end of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Da, 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 da. Right, triplet at the end. So if I put all of melody B together, guys, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you're following with the tab, it says a DSL coda, right? That means jump back to the sign, and the sign is on bar 1. So you're just going to repeat through all of A. So it's snap, 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 tap, boom. And then you're going to go back into melody B. So you've got so you're playing those 3 bars, the first 3 bars of melody B. Then for the 4th bar, you're jumping to the coda. So this is our outro. So you're going to literally be playing the same thing we just did in the last bar for melody B, but all as quarter notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we break that down, all we have is that D7 with the first and the middle finger. So we're going strum, and then 2nd fret of string 3, open E, 2nd fret of string 2. But quarter note rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's that simple. So if I play 3 and 4 together with this alternate ending for 4, it sounds like this. So you can really hear that change from not playing the swung 8th notes to playing quarter notes. So there's only 2 bars left in the tune, so it's going to basically do a staccato hit on G, and it's going to run the triplet lick lower and then up an octave higher, and then have a classic little cadence ending. So here's what the last section sounds like, and I'll play it from the bar we just learned. Alright, so let's go ahead and break it down. So once you finish with the quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, all you can do is basically move this middle finger up to the 3rd fret of string 2 and drop your index finger down to the 2nd fret of string 3. You're going to do a little staccato hit. Bop. So it's plucking, and then you see how I lift pressure up. So we don't want the notes to ring out. We don't want it to ring out like that. We want it to be bop. So play the note, lift pressure up, but don't lift your whole hand up or else opens will ring out. So practice that little staccato bop. And then we're going to run the triplet lick, the very first triplet lick. So it's 2nd fret of string 3, open E, 2nd fret of E, 3rd fret of E. So we've got triplet and then beat 3. So this bar is going to be 1, triplet 3. Okay, so it's quarter, triplet, quarter, quarter, triplet, quarter. Okay, so let's try together. 1, 2, 3, 4, bop, triplet, bop. Okay, after that you're playing the triplet again, but you're playing this set of notes an octave higher. So we're going to start on the 5th fret of string 1, and this whole triplet lick is going to run up string 1. You have 5, 7, 9, ending on 10. So I'm going to use the index, 3rd finger, pinky, and then shift the pinky up to 10. Okay, so triplet, bop. So this is on beat 4, triplet 1, and that will be on beat 1 of the last bar of the tune. So we've got a staccato for the first hit and for the last hit. So we've got da, triplet bop, triplet bop. So our last couple chords is going to be a 5-to-1 resolution. So we're going D7 to G. So the first one is a little tricky to grab this chord. So it's going to be middle finger on 9 on string 3, index finger on 8 on string 2, and ring finger on 9 on string 1. So we're just going to pluck it. We can use first, second, and third to pluck it. And then we're going to this higher voicing for the G chord. So we're going to lay our index finger flat on the 7th fret, strings 1, 2, and 3, and add your pinky to 10 on string 1. Now this is a partial bar chord, so if you're new to partial bar chords and full bar chords and understanding the correct left-hand form, check out this lesson real quick and it'll teach you all you need to know. So you definitely want to practice these two chord changes. So you can put it into a time frame, kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just want to get used to the change and switching, and you want to get used to the muscle memory of how hard you've got to push down and the exact form. So that'll help you if you put it into context. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just start slow and then work it up to speed. When you get a little bit cleaner at it and better at it, you can boost that tempo up. So our last hit is actually just going to go back down to a G. So we're going back to where we first started this little outro licks. So we're back to the index finger on the 2nd fret of string 3 and middle finger on the 3rd fret of string 2. And we can pluck the open G with that as well. So we've got ba ba boom. Very classic ending. So if I put that whole little outro together, starting on the quarter note D7s, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, triplet 3, triplet 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot, right? Let me go ahead and play without counting. Very cool little outro. So just take it slow and work it up to speed. So this is one that you probably want to just take bar by bar and just get used to it, because it is a lot of movement, a lot of jumping up and down, and those triplets are tricky to play. Alright guys, that's our entire arrangement though. So the Addams Family theme is a lot of fun to play. And you're welcome to play it more like the original recording where it just doubles melody B, which I didn't do for our arrangement. So you can adapt it a little bit if you want to make it a little bit longer. So you could play melody A twice, melody B twice, melody A twice, melody B twice, outro. So in essence, you're just doubling the sections, and that'll give you a bit longer of a length, more true to the original recording. But anyways, with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this arrangement. If you want to learn more Halloween songs, we've got quite a few on our site, so check out this link right here. And again, I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.